Have you ever encountered people who are drunk with power? People who think they've become the monarchs of this earth all because they have a little authority given to them? Well, I have. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. It all started when I got a letter. Not just any letter, but one stamped with the bold, pretentious logo of the Oak Ridge HOA. It was an invitation for a meeting. You see, I'm a farmer whose land sits right beside their fancy, overpriced neighborhood. My family has worked this farm for generations, before that subdivision was even a twinkle in a developer's greedy eye. So when I saw the letter, I kept wondering what on earth they'd want from me. But I decided to go. Walking into the HOA office felt like stepping into a courthouse where everyone already decided you were guilty. Sitting at the center of the conference table was Stephanie, the self-appointed queen of Oak Ridge, flanked by her board of cronies. She smiled in that fake realtor sort of way and launched right in. "We'd like to purchase your farm," she said, as if offering me a gift. Their plan? To bulldoze it and build a community clubhouse for the good of the neighborhood. She added that my farm's presence lowered property values and made the place look less exclusive. I almost laughed. This farm has been in my family since before I was born. It feeds people, it keeps me alive, and I'm not selling it for your social hangout. I thought that would be the end of it. Stephanie just smiled again, but this time her eyes were ice. "We understand your feelings, but the board's decision is final," she said, like I was one of her HOA tenants. That's when I realized these people actually believed they had power over me. They thought they could strong arm me into handing over my heritage. Stephanie leaned in and whispered, "You might want to reconsider before this becomes complicated." Before we dive in deeply, let us know in the comments where you're watching this story from. They were talking like they owned me. Stephanie leaned forward across that HOA table with this smug little smile, the kind that says, "I always get what I want." She told me to be smart and accept their offer before things got complicated. I didn't like her tone, but I didn't rise to it. I just reminded her my family had been working this farm for decades, before the HOA, before the fancy houses, before the asphalt roads even touched this land. Her smirk faltered for a second, but she quickly pasted it back on and said, "Board decisions are binding." That was my cue to leave. 2 weeks later, I got an email from her. Not the polite type. It was short, sharp, and dripping with passive aggression. "Just checking if you've reconsidered. I'd hate for this to escalate unnecessarily." I hit reply, typed out, "No thank you," and went back to work. I figured that was the end of it. I was wrong. 3 days later, a white pickup with a county seal pulled up at the edge of my property. Out jumped two inspectors with clipboards, poking around my fencing, barns, and even my irrigation lines. They said they'd gotten a complaint about unsafe storage of chemicals. Nothing came of it. My place is cleaner than a hospital floor, but something in their tone made me suspicious. Then another inspection happened, and another. One was for possible livestock neglect, even though my cattle are practically pampered. Another was for excessive noise, which is laughable because my loudest neighbor is a rooster named Earl. By the fourth inspection, I knew this wasn't bad luck. This was targeted. One of the inspectors finally leveled with me. "Look, we're just following up on complaints. All of them are coming from someone named Stephanie Roberts. Ring a bell?" I swear I could feel my jaw lock. That was it. She wanted to play dirty? I could play dirtier. I started checking my perimeter cameras, and sure enough, 2 days later, I caught her in high heels and a sun hat slipping onto my property. She had a little point-and-shoot camera and was snapping pictures of my barn from angles that made it look run down. I knew exactly what she was doing, manufacturing evidence for her complaints. And that's when I decided she was going to regret ever hearing my name. I didn't go off half-cocked. That's what she wanted, me yelling, looking unstable, giving her ammo. No, I played it patient. I started logging everything: dates, times, the exact inspectors, even the weather conditions when she claimed loud machinery was keeping her up at night. My cameras caught her trespassing 3 more times, once even bringing another HOA board member with her. They didn't notice my game cam hidden in the oak tree. A buddy of mine, Mark, is a retired sheriff. I invited him over for coffee and showed him the footage. He raised an eyebrow and said, "This is gold. She's not just harassing you, she's committing criminal trespass and filing false reports. That's a felony if we push it." Hearing that was like tasting the first bite of a good steak after a long day. I also dug into public records. The HOA's finances? A mess. Turns out Stephanie had been pushing big capital improvement projects to boost property values. Conveniently, projects that funneled work to her cousin's construction firm. The clubhouse plan was just the cherry on top. She needed my farm to make it happen. So I baited the hook. I sent her a polite email saying I was considering selling and wanted to talk terms. She took the bait hard. Within days, she emailed back a draft agreement where the HOA would acquire my land at a suspiciously low price and waive certain zoning reviews. That right there was my smoking gun. Proof she was willing to skirt the law to get what she wanted. Mark helped me package everything: trespass footage, false complaint records, and that shady contract, and we filed both a civil harassment suit and a criminal complaint. I didn't warn her. I wanted her blindsided. The day the process server showed up at her door, she was hosting a little HOA wine mixer. Half the neighborhood saw her face go from red to white in 3 seconds flat. The best part? She tried to laugh it off until she read the charges. Then the wine glass in her hand just sort of slipped. Next, it was going to court, and Stephanie's perfect little reputation was about to get plowed under, just like she wanted to do to my farm. Court day came faster than I expected. Stephanie walked in wearing a blazer 2 sizes too big, like she thought dressing modest would make her look innocent. Her lawyer tried to spin it, said the HOA had a right to protect property values, and that her visits to my farm were informal inspections. The judge didn't even blink, just asked, "Were you invited onto the plaintiff's property?" Stephanie froze. One word, no, and she'd already sunk her own ship. Then came my evidence. The trespass videos played on the big screen, her and her little sidekick wandering around my barn like they owned it. The inspector reports I'd subpoenaed showed every violation she filed was dismissed for lack of merit. The pièce de résistance was the email about waiving zoning reviews for my sale. The courtroom went dead quiet, except for Stephanie's lawyer flipping pages like he'd suddenly lost the plot. The judge's ruling was brutal. Stephanie was found liable for harassment, trespass, and abuse of process. Civil damages, $85,000. On top of that, the DA picked up the criminal trespass and falsified complaint charges. She got probation, community service, and a permanent restraining order to keep her off my land. And here's where it got sweet. The HOA board, desperate to save face, voted her out as president. They even sent me a formal apology letter, though I suspect it was more about covering themselves than any real remorse. Still, word spread fast. Realtors started avoiding listings in our neighborhood, worried about the HOA scandal. Irony's funny that way. My farm became the only stable property value in the area. A few weeks later, I was fixing a fence when I saw her drive by in an old beat-up sedan instead of her shiny Lexus. No HOA badge, no clipboard, no smug wave. Just a quick look away, like if she didn't see me. None of it happened. I leaned on the fence post, tipped my hat, and went back to work. My land was mine, and no one, not even a power-drunk HOA president, was ever going to take it from me again. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Comment below.